Okay, so we have to talk about the rank 1 Neeko player. First of all, Neeko got a lot of new and interesting options due to her mid-scope update. As a consequence, many people are taking Neeko to the jungle, making use of mind games with her passive. They disguise Neeko as a minion to then lane gank their enemies almost like a true stealth champion, and the strategy certainly works. However, the rank 1 Neeko player is doing things a little differently. Instead of playing jungle Neeko trying to cheese with her disguise, Chae Kimingyam is playing Neeko in her old school mid lane position. And Chae Kimingyam just keeps winning with this proven strategy at 1000 LP Korean Challenger, making him the highest ranked Neeko player in the world. But let's see exactly how he uses Neeko's new tools. In lane, Chae Kimingyam's plan is to aggressively make trades with his keystone Electrocute, which Neeko can do very reliably starting from level 2. All you need to do is land your E, so you can then connect Q and an auto attack for free before you back off again. This combo is very straightforward and an invaluable pressure tool for any matchup. The only skill involved here is reading the enemy's movement patterns correctly, so you can connect with your snare in the first place. However, Neeko's W also has some interesting applications in lane, but this one is more matchup specific. Neeko's clone is coded like a champion, which means you can use it while approaching, so it would body block enemy skill shots for you. Ahri cannot use her charm here, since the clone would simply sponge the projectile and make it useless. It's a neat little trick Chae Kimingyam uses to guarantee favorable trades in this lane. During the earlier stages of lane phase, it is truly a game of inches. You play around your Electrocute cooldown to slowly build up a health advantage that you can then convert into CS advantage when the enemy is pressured out of lane. As soon as you turn level 6, however, Neeko's strategy is no longer a pure hit and run style. Chae Kimingyam is using Neeko's newly buffed ultimate to extend his small burst combo into a full all-in assassination. Neeko's E can combo straight into her ultimate's new knock-up, leaving the enemy with zero options. Even a high mobility champion like Ahri will get hit by this. And this is one of the biggest differences between jungle Neeko and mid lane Neeko. Jungle Neeko relies on these cheese strategies with her passive, catching people off guard who are unfamiliar with it, whereas mid lane Neeko creates massive pressure with her new ER combo, which the enemy must respect at all times. However, mid lane Neeko can still occasionally cheese with her passive, but more on that in just a second. First, you should keep in mind that if you want to have educational league content like this in your personal feed, all you need to do is click the subscribe button. Anyway, using Neeko's ultimate to combo with your E is quite powerful, but the true potential of Neeko's R will show itself in the mid game. Knock-up effects are the strongest form of crowd control in all of League of Legends, so if you can get a flank engage off with this tool, you can carry entire teamfights. Yes, Chae Kimingyam actually was able to cheese with Neeko's passive here, as even in Korean Challenger it can work in the heat of the moment when the enemy is distracted with something else. You shouldn't revolve your entire game plan around this, but when you go for such a play occasionally, even the best players will fall for it from time to time. But at the end of the day, there are many ways to connect your ult. You can try to cheese, you can combo with your Everfrost, you can use your E of course, or you can follow up on your allies engage. However, the most important condition you must meet is actually being grouped with your team. Chae Kimingyam only splits to fix the side lanes when it is absolutely necessary, since being in position to make plays with R is crucial to his success. Clear fast so you can then quickly rejoin the team. But now you will see how you can use Neeko's passive without relying on cheese. If you do it the right way, it is actually very hard for the enemy to react to it, while also coming at almost no opportunity cost for yourself. Have a close look. Chae Kimingyam approached from out of vision, but also pulled the trigger before the entire wave became visible to the opponent. This way he could catch Xayah off guard before she had the chance to count the number of minions, which would have been a dead giveaway. But this example also illustrates the risks that come with Neeko's passive. You don't have the time to fully assess the situation yourself, which means you kind of just have to hope the enemy doesn't have sufficient backup. This will still be worth it in some situations, but the far more reliable play is still to use Neeko's ult for zone control in teamfights. The AoE knock-up is highly disruptive to the opponent's formation, and with her team having her back, Neeko can punish the enemy's engage extremely hard. But it really works both ways. When Neeko's team is in a bad spot, she can use her crowd control defensively to protect her allies from further harm. Please have a look at how Chae Kimingyam uses all the tools at his disposal to keep the hyperfed enemy Gragas at bay. Unfortunately, Karma failed to run away, but by keeping Gragas locked in crowd control, Chae Kimingyam at least enabled Lee Sin to snipe the opposing Viego. But this is a common theme in Chae Kimingyam's gameplay. He will go out of his way to get as much value out of Neeko's AoE crowd control effects as possible, even if that means he himself could die. You're still guaranteed to get your damage off before you die, and chances are that your allies will find a way to make use of the fact that the entire enemy team just cannot move. Neeko has lots of burst, but you can definitely also play the role of a disruptive control mage if you really must. However, this will only be necessary when either you or your team are getting caught out of position. By finding the engage yourself, you can effectively end the fight before it really started. But seriously, a melee minion with Mountain Shield, how could Xayah not realize this? Okay, so now you know about Neeko's most important combos, and that for some reason Chae Kimingyam can even cheese Korean challengers with her stupid passive. But we still have to talk about Neeko's optimal rune and item setups, since these are also very important for your success. Chae Kimingyam's favorite Neeko rune page is Electrocute, Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collection and Treasure Hunter with Bone Plating and Overgrowth secondary. As I've already shown, Neeko uses Electrocute very well, as it is an integral part of her game plan during the lane phase. Even in the late game, however, Electrocute's damage will stay relevant. While its cooldown is fairly long, it has one of the best base damage and AP scalings of all keystones in the game. Taste of Blood has an internal cooldown quite similar to that of Electrocute, which means you will most likely also have it ready when you go for your EQ auto-attack combo. Many enemy champions will be able to trade back against you in some way, shape or form, so the extra healing from Taste of Blood will make these exchanges more favorable for you. Eyeball Collection provides you with more AP, which is always nice, and Treasure Hunter accelerates your items, of course. Pretty straightforward runes, and in the mid lane position you will have plenty of opportunities to stack them due to your roaming and playmaking potential. Now, Bone Plating follows a logic similar to that of Taste of Blood. In lane you want to trade as efficiently as possible, and since you play around your Electrocute cooldown anyway, the internal cooldown of Bone Plating naturally fits into your pattern. In the late game it is also quite useful, since the enemy will try to burst you down as you flank them with your ultimate. But especially in combination with the scaling health coming from Overgrowth, Neeko is quite likely to survive long enough to get all her chain CC off. And your item build does quite some heavy lifting here as well, as you will see. Chae Kimingyam's preferred core items are Everfrost, Zhonya's and Shadowflame. Ever since the buffs to Neeko's ultimate, the item Everfrost became even more synergistic. Back in the day, Chae Kimingyam used to build Hextech Rocket Belt for his mythic in order to get in position for his R, but nowadays Everfrost's active can combo into your ult knockup flawlessly. You can chain Everfrost, ult and E together in any order you seem fit. It will work, as the CC duration is just long enough. Everfrost is also one of those mage mythics that provide health, so killing Neeko before she gets her ult off will be more difficult. However, you are still an easy target as you position yourself in the middle of the enemy team for maximum ult value, but this is where Zhonya's Hourglass comes into play. The active effect is a great zoning tool, allowing your teammates to protect you after you engage. Shadow Flame is usually Chae Kim-In-Yam's third item, but if he is snowballing, he will also sometimes buy Shadow Flame's second. The enemy won't have as much damage here, which means the bonus health from Everfrost and Shadow Flame combined will keep you safe enough, while the extra magic pen from Shadow Flame enables you to snowball even harder. Other useful items you can buy after this core build are Morello, Deathcap and Void Staff. In the right matchup, it obviously also makes sense to get Morello rather early and instead delay Shadow Flame until the late game. Anyway, if you enjoy champions with a lot of utility and teamfighting power, you might also be interested in the Enchanter Melio. For a rank 1 Melio showcase, just click the link on your screen right there.